It does appear that what we're looking at here, folks, is a case in which two men who are falsely accused of being Nazis are being sanctioned against or financially unpersoned by a company that did the bidding of the actual Nazis during World War II. Wow. Financial unpersoning. Folks, if you've read 1984, you know about the concept of unpersoning, and you know that Orwell modeled that after what was actually happening in communist Russia, where they would try to erase the very memory or existence of certain people. They are put down the memory hole, so to speak, where the records of the fact that they ever existed were eradicated. And you know, the man was very prescient, and we see more and more as time goes on his predictions coming true even over here in the Western world. Now, you may or may not know, about roughly a week ago, Enrique Tarr of the Proud Boys, basically the president, I guess you could say, of the Proud Boys, he had his bank account closed with no explanation. You may have seen, say, for example, Tim Pool's video about that or whatever. I see, you know, I follow him on Facebook, and he himself has confirmed that is true, although we just don't know why. At least as far as I know, Enrique hasn't come out and offered any explanation because, well, the bank hasn't offered any explanation. You know, at some point they're going to, hopefully at some point they're going to have to give him some sort of explanation. Now, Joe Biggs. If you don't know, Joe Biggs is a personality, has a lot of followers, and he is a, well, Trump supporter, critical of the regressive left, critical of Antifa, and just 2 hours ago from the time that I'm recording this, he made a post on Facebook, basically the Gateway Pundit article. So it's not just that we need to believe the Gateway Pundit. Joe Biggs is confirming that this is, in fact, a fact. So here we go. Gateway Pundit headline: Financial Tyranny. Chase Bank shuts down personal account of vocal Trump-supporting U.S. combat vet, by Christina Layla, I guess, February 16, 2019. And I wonder, is this the same bank that shut down Enrique's account, Chase Bank? Let's see. Yes, it does seem, at least according to these reports, you can see right there, Chase Bank shuts down Proud Boys leader's personal bank account. Wow. So it seems like, you know, it's actually less scary that it's one bank doing it than more than one bank doing it. But this is still really scary. Now, of course, we don't know. This could be just a coincidence. It could be that both of these accounts were shut down for non-political reasons, but it's starting to look pretty scary here. Now, I'm going to read the article in a little bit here, but just so you know, apparently they haven't given him a reason, but they will apparently give him a reason in a mailed letter. I asked Joe Biggs if he's aware of the thing with Enrique Tarr of the Proud Boys, and he said yes, well, yup. And I asked him if he would please post about the letter when he gets that letter. And no doubt he will. Well, you know, almost surely he will post about it. But let's have a look at the article. It reads, Chase Bank abruptly closed the personal account of U.S. Army combat veteran Joe Rambo Biggs. Mr. Biggs is a very vocal Trump supporter with a blue check verified Twitter account and has over 200,000 followers. Quote, Chase Bank just closed my account, unquote, Biggs said on Twitter Saturday. That would be today, the day that I'm reading this. And here's the tweet by Joe Biggs. Joe Biggs told the Gateway Pundit that he was in financial good standing with Chase Bank and had an account with them for almost 20 years. And if I remember correctly, Enrique said the same thing, more or less, about his own account.
I've been banking with them for 15 years. I don't have overdraft fees in 15 years. I don't run a shady business.
Quote, I've had my account with Chase since around the year 2000, unquote, Biggs said. Chase Bank sent Mr. Biggs an email letting him know that his account had been permanently closed. And here's a screenshot of the email from Chase to Joe Biggs provided to the Gateway Pundit. And there's not much to see here. It just says that his account was closed on the 3rd, as they explain in their most recent statement, bank statement to him. Scroll down and read some more. Joe Biggs told this reporter that he walked into a local Chase Bank branch to speak to a bank teller about the email he received. The person at Chase Bank told Joe Biggs that she couldn't see why his account was closed, but that he would be receiving an explanation letter sent by mail. Joe Biggs is a U.S. Army combat vet and told the Gateway Pundit that his Army retirement was deposited into his Chase Bank account. Chase Bank withdrew all the money that was in his account and gave Biggs a wad of cash. Quote, I have to find a new bank now, unquote, Biggs told the Gateway Pundit. Joe Biggs is a huge supporter of the Second Amendment and also makes documentary films focused on the border crisis, but he says YouTube has taken down most of his videos and demonetized his channel. Welcome to the club. Okay, they haven't taken down most of my videos. They've only taken down, I think, 1 or 2, but they've demonetized almost every one of my videos. Not that it matters anyway, because I haven't tried to monetize my videos in a very long time. I mean, you can get tens of thousands of views, and it only gives you a couple of dollars. So I figured, why should I take a couple of dollars and make thousands of different people see advertisements? It's just, you know, I could definitely use the money. Maybe we'll set up something like Patreon, but I refuse to give Patreon anything. Anyway, at some point in the future, maybe we'll consider, you know, asking for money, but I feel I'm so reluctant to ask for money. I don't do what I do for money anyway, but anyway, I haven't tried to monetize my videos in a long time, but YouTube keeps saying, well, you can't even if you wanted to. You know, it's like, well, I don't want to. Well, you can't. Okay. All right. Thanks, YouTube. Thanks. Anyway, moving on. Tyranny from big tech and big banks in the US is reminiscent of the social credit score in China. Ding. Yep, they get it. Which is used to silence and control the population. Exactly. It's communist techniques being used over here. Last week, Big Leagues Politics reported that Chase Bank shut down the personal account of Proud Boy leader Enrique Tarr. Political activist and reporter Laura Loomer has recently been banned from Twitter, PayPal, Uber Eats, and Lyft because she tells the truth about Sharia law and Islam. And that should be scary too. Look, Uber and Lyft, these are transportation. So they're trying to financially unperson her and also take away her means of traveling. At least as, you know, to the extent that they're able to. And who knows? Who knows? Are we going into a future where, say, self-driven cars will just not drive certain people around? You know, and we're moving into a world where it's becoming a more and more cashless society, more and more cashless economy. So this can't be allowed to go on. This just cannot be allowed to go on. You know, I don't want violence or whatever, but if this stuff continues, we're going to maybe we're going to need some serious, really serious measures to stop this. I mean, maybe another civil war is coming, folks. I don't want there to be one, but if they're going to try to take away our liberty, I'm all for doing what we have to do to fight back. The article concludes, how is the US any different from a communist nation if Americans live in fear that if they dare express their political views, they will be unable to use various financial services that are essential to living in a modern society? Where the hell is Congress? Well, where the hell is Congress? Too busy being corrupt. Something to keep in mind, folks. To figure out who it is that rules over you, just find out who it is that you're not allowed to criticize. Okay, it's not Donald Trump. Who is it that we can't criticize these days? The far left. Okay, these media monopolies are making it more and more impossible to criticize the far left and Islam. For some reason, the far left think that they're on the side of Islam or Islam's on their side. As we're learning now, something that I've been saying for years now, folks, is sooner or later we're going to have to choose between either being okay with equal rights for everyone, including gay people, or Islam. But we can't have both. Because as we're learning in the UK, these two have come to heads with each other. But for some reason, the far left thinks that Islam's on their side. Now, let me be really clear. My view is that there's absolutely nothing wrong with being gay, but there is something very wrong with Islam. Anyway, to find out who it is that rules over you, just determine who it is that you can't criticize, and that is the far left and Islam. In the Western world, you can't criticize the far left or Islam without being sanctioned against. Okay, and we need to throw off these shackles. Okay, we need to shrug off these people. Like a sleeping giant wakes up and just, you know, like say Gulliver in Gulliver's Travel, you know, he wakes up and he just shrugs off all these binds that the Lilliputans put on him when he was sleeping. We need to wake up and shake off our shackles. Fuck the media monopolies, fuck the far left, fuck Islam, and fuck anyone who has a problem with me saying this. If you have a problem with me saying this, please tell me so I have the pleasure of knowing that I've upset you, because you deserve it.
Something sleeps inside us and seldom awakens. The sleeper must awaken.
The sleeper has awakened!
So there you have it, folks. Now, here's my thoughts on the matter. If companies like Twitter and Uber and Lyft and Chase Bank, or if they're going to be doing this sort of thing, one way that we can fight back without violence is the following: awareness. Boycott these fucked up companies, these colleges, etc. Just don't give them your business, okay? We need to, say, perhaps have a centralized list or a website or something like that, you know, with where we could detail, look, Lyft is doing this to Laura Loomer, Uber is doing this to Laura Loomer, Chase is doing this to Enrique Tarrio and Joe Biggs, so here's companies to pull out of. And look, there's a lot of people who are not far left. In fact, most people are not far left. And I would imagine, or at least I hope, that most people are against these sort of tyrannical practices. I mean, you know, look, if you support this sort of thing, you're really short-sighted, because things can just swing the other way, and then it can happen to people who agree with you and your views. And so we need to hit these people where the only way that these people understand is when you go after their profits, okay? So if you, thankfully I'm not with Chase Bank, but if I were with Chase Bank, I would be pulling out immediately. Well, I take that back. I'd wait until Joe gets his letter and Enrique, and they come out and say what the reason is, and then we can, you know, make a decision. My guess is that they're going to say something completely bullshit, kind of like Twitter and Facebook, like some sort of answer that's a non-answer, in which case you know that they're doing it for political reasons. In other words, if they don't have a valid reason for taking away the bank accounts of these two guys, then we could pretty much assume safely that it is for political reasons. It's just they're too dishonest to say so. So, for example, here's a comment from Rob Cantrell. He's a week ahead of me on my thoughts on this. And if you remember, Rob Cantrell is the star of our most popular video, I think, or at least one of them. Eric Clanton, the bike lock attacker, is worse than you think. That's Rob right there being egged. Rob Cantrell is now a Proud Boy. He's been for a while. And let's read his comment. This is Rob's comment on one of Enrique's posts about being unpersoned, financially unpersoned by Chase Bank. And you can see he says, I'll be closing my Chase account in addition to my PayPal account. I'm also going to troll Chase Brick and Mortars. I'm retired. I need a new project. Chase will be satisfied by trolling urges. And of course, this is with Rob's permission. You could say I asked him if I could put this comment in video, and his response is, yeah. And by the way, Enrique Tarrio has been unpersoned from a number of different companies. I think he has Laura Loomer beat in terms of how many different companies have unpersoned him. And by the way, let's look at this post by Enrique. Well, what do we have here? Chase, you got some splaining to do. Which is kind of funny because Enrique has a Cuban background, and if you know, of course, splaining to do is from Ricky Ricardo character, you know, the Cuban guy from I Love Lucy. That's pretty clever. So what do we have here? New York Times, Chase reviews Nazi-era role by Timothy O'Brien, November 17, 1998. Wow. The Chase Manhattan Bank Corporation said yesterday that it is investigating allegations that it froze accounts of Jewish customers in Paris during the Nazi occupation of France. They definitely got some splaining to do. Yes. This all has to do with companies doing the bidding of authoritarians, or at least acting like authoritarians. So the principle is the same in both of these. If this is in fact true, that they did in fact freeze the bank accounts of Jewish people in Paris during the Nazi occupation, it's the same damn thing. In both cases, they are taking away the finances or closing the accounts of people they have no business taking from for political reasons. Okay, and they're targeting people that they think can't fight back. But you know what? We need to rally around these people, okay? Like Enrique, Joe Biggs, Laura Loomer. Even if we don't agree with them. Look, I'm not right-wing. You know, these guys, I think all three of those people are to the right of me, probably, maybe, I'm not sure. But this is a matter of principle. I would be doing this even if it was somebody on the far left that I detest. It's because principles matter. In fact, principles matter a lot more than any of the political differences involved. And, you know, it seems these days principles are what's missing from a lot of people. And I think a lot of these political differences going on, the cultural civil war that's been going on, I think a lot of it goes back to a lack of principles. Wow, folks. So there you go. What do you think about this? What are we going to do about this as a society? And I will tell you, as soon as I know any more information about these things, I'll let you know what I know when I know it. So again, folks, what do you think about this? Leave us a comment below. Let's discuss these things. And yeah, get ready. Just get ready, man. I think we all need to get ready to boycott a lot of companies. And it shouldn't just be right-wingers. Look, I don't consider myself to be a right-winger, don't consider myself to be a left-winger. I consider myself to be on the libertarian side of things as opposed to the authoritarian side of things, or the individualist side of things as opposed to the collectivist side of things. But the thing is, we need to have a very broad movement against these companies, because these things cannot be allowed to happen. Look, if you're on the left, even if you're on the far left, you should at least have the foresight to know that these things could be swung the other way. Look, people can get vengeance on you and your kind, your side, because, you know, sooner or later, people are going to just start fighting back. And, you know, the pendulum does swing. So if you think it won't ever possibly swing against you, you're a complete idiot. All right, folks, till next time, thanks for watching.